Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Bruce, and thank you for doing this for a third year in a row as well. I'd like to add my welcome to all of you because this is really a wonderful opportunity, I think, for all of us to come together, to accelerate ideas, to form partnerships, and to truly make things better for, as Bruce said, for the children that come to us. We are so excited, I think, today because this is the third annual summit hosted by us at Boston Children's Hospital, and it's wonderful to see a full room. Many of you for the first time, and of course many of you for all 3 years. So why are we here? I, as a leader, feel a very important responsibility to lead change, to keep a steady ground, as Bruce said, but also to help find ways to collaborate, to accelerate new ideas across our institution and across many partnerships. And at Boston Children's, we are sharpening our vision. We are seeing more children coming to us than ever before. We are seeing kids from all over the country and all over the world, many of whom are coming with complex disease and rare conditions, and coming to us because they've heard the concern that they are faced with, which is, we don't know what's wrong with your child, or we know what's wrong, but we don't know what to do. And I like to think that at Boston Children's, those words are not in our vocabulary. We are trying at every stage to help these children, to give them a diagnosis, to find a treatment, to have a new device or a new system that will answer questions and provide the hope. And so we are, as leaders, working on, I think, 3 big components that are essential for building an innovation ecosystem and a culture of innovation. The first is building momentum, ensuring that we have enough going on that it is a culture and a system that encourages new ideas. The second one is so important because it is about building foundations, and the third one is truly building an innovation ecosystem and a set of partnerships both inside and outside the institution. So let me start with momentum. So as you can see, we have 3 examples. The first one is Dr. Pedro Del Nido over on the left. Dr. Del Nido is the chief of cardiac surgery at Boston Children's Hospital. He, and in partnership with the Brigham and Women's Hospital, MIT, and Gecko Biomedical, have developed a surgical glue that, when exposed to light, will close a hole in the heart. Now, one would say this is so exciting for pediatric cardiac surgery, but to be honest, I think it could transform surgery across the whole domain. The second one is Dr. Katie Janeway, who you'll hear about today. Katie is a medical oncologist in the Dana-Farber Children's Hospital Cancer Center, and she is sequencing the tumors of children with cancer. Many of these children have failed treatment, and Katie is working on, and she will tell you more, and I'm not going to steal her thunder, but she is focusing on a precise approach to treating these children with a therapy that will go after their disease. And the last one is Esme. Esme came to us as a young child. She was silent, she was tube-fed, she was suffering from severe epilepsy, and she had no answers. Her parents had traveled all over the world seeking a diagnosis. But Dr. Ann Paduri and Dr. Alex Rotenberg, who are neurologists and scientists at Boston Children's, sequenced her genome, and they found one mutation in a gene that is responsible for her condition. Now the parents have a diagnosis. The problem is they have no treatment yet. So that's where they will go next. They will use a zebrafish model to try and identify a treatment for Esme. One mutation, one child. That's what precision medicine is all about. So let's turn a little bit to foundations, because I think it's so important that we also build a very strong foundation, a foundation that is reliable for every patient, whether it is safety, quality, experience, outcomes. And at Boston Children's, we are working across the entire organization to build a high reliability organization, because every moment matters for the children and the families that we care for. The second thing we're doing is building a new clinical building. And in 5 years, when the doors open, thanks to Dr. Churchwell and team, we will have a wonderful new facility, an environment for the changing kind of care that we, through our innovations, through our pushing of the boundaries of care, will provide to children and their families. But it'll also be a forum for physicians, for nurses, and for all our staff to continue to innovate in an environment that is conducive for innovation. And last but not least, we have a photograph of a wonderful nurse, her product, that it was one of her innovations. Because we have built an innovation ecosystem at Children's with a chief innovation officer, systems, supports, and a culture that fosters grassroots ideas and helps accelerate them and push them, not just to patients, but also to the market. And last but not least, partnerships. One of the things we know is that we cannot do all of this alone. You've heard about some of our partnerships already, but we are working with IBM Watson to find a way to use their new ideas and technology and bring that back to our patients. And they are also going to be speaking today to tell you about their work, not just with Boston Children's, but with all others. And I want to do a shout out to them because they are one of our premier sponsors today. We are also working with other children's hospitals. Boston Children's Hospital, Cincinnati Children's Hospital, and Children's Hospital of Philadelphia have come together to form the GRIN network, the Genomics Research and Innovation Network, where we will pool both phenotypic and genotypic information. We will bring scientists and clinicians and researchers and big data analysts to try and take all of that data and answer questions, particularly for children with rare diseases. Because together we can do things that we can't do alone. And tomorrow you'll also hear the results of the Clarity Challenge, a work that both Boston Children's and Harvard Medical School have put together now for a second time, where 5 families have donated their information and have volunteered themselves because they are all living with undiagnosed conditions. And we have teams from literally all over the world coming together in this challenge to try and answer this question. So partnerships, whether they're inside the organization, breaking down silos, or across the institutions with academia, with business, with biotech, with biopharma, with other academic institutions, are going to be absolutely critical as we form more and more partnerships to accelerate change and drive change. And so I will just close with where I started. What I would like to just emphasize is how important we as leaders, every one of you out there, and we in our responsibilities leading organizations, how important it is for us to drive change, to find these partnerships. We know that success is not guaranteed, that the risks are high, but the rewards are enormous. And as I like to say at Boston Children's, that we are here to make the impossible possible until every child is well. Thank you, and have a great summit.